Hello everyone, I'm Kostas and today I will be talking to you about my faculty fellowship project which I did in cooperation with IQVIA and it revolved around analyzing clinical trial data. So why is the value in analyzing clinical trial data? The value begins with the pharmaceutical product itself. So for a pharmaceutical product to reach the market, that is quite a lengthy process because it has to go through a lot of regulation, research and through a lot of channels to actually get to the marketplace. It is also a very expensive process that requires money throughout, not only at the start, but throughout it requires funding. So it would be very, very important to actually know the clinical trial landscape, both to ensure patient benefit and to ensure return of investment to the companies. Currently, analyzing clinical trials is something that is quite a manual and time-intensive task, and we can get a better idea of this if we actually see the current scheme. Now, this is a chaotic structure of a database, it has a lot of cluttered data, and data tends to repeat itself. So our first step in this project was actually to get all of these cluttered data and make a single nice and relatively tidy data frame. So we got this data frame which has around 500,000 of unique clinical trial data, and each of them has around 400 features. So still, even though we have everything in one place, there's a lot of information to go through. And complexity is added because a lot of the text is unstructured within these cells. And also we're talking about human health. So grouping things is not always as easy. So it doesn't go one size fits all. Now continuing, what we did was we data engineered a data pipeline that would refine the results stepwise. And we're going to go through a workflow today to understand what it does. So we start with our 500,000 of clinical trial data, and we say we want the data that revolves around lung cancer, and you get 24,000. And then we further refine by saying we want the ones that revolve around gene treatment or lung cancer, and we get 55. Lastly, we want the ones that are interventional, so that they actually test a specific drug, and we get 37 trials. Already we can start having a rough overview of the landscape. And here we will have an overview of the trial phases. Now, most of you might have become familiar with clinical trial phases with the COVID vaccinations. But to recap, early trials, so phase 1, phase 2 trials, are actually more on the research side of things, while phase 3 and phase 4 mean that the product can start getting into the right channels to enter the marketplace. Out of our current 37 trials, we can see that the majority lies on the research phases. So we can start making some conclusions that gene treatment is a new technique to treat lung cancer. We only have a single phase 3 trial, so the landscape still looks a bit primitive. Now, if we further manipulate the data to see how many trials have been completed and how many are ongoing, we can again see that the ongoing trials are at the early phase. So that means that there will be research going for at least a while, and expecting something in the marketplace would come at the long term. We cannot, of course, speak about products entering the marketplace without seeing how much industry support these products have. And with the current pipeline, we can easily extract the information that out of the 17 trials, only 6 of them had partial or full industrial support. And this again shows us that the gene treatment for lung cancer is going to be on the research stage for quite a while. Now, if we wanted to get a very, very rough estimate of how many products would actually go in the marketplace, and we get this timeline of the clinical trials that are going to be finishing and having also industrial sponsorship, then we can see that we only have 4 phase 2 trials, and even though phase 2 trials don't usually make it to the market, if we say we're extremely optimistic that we're going to keep 50% of the products, that means we're going to get 2 products which are going to need another 3 to 4 years from phase trial completion to actually go through the channels and reach the marketplace. So we can start to understand how this data pipeline can give us a good image of the information that we can get a grasp on and potentially help shape the landscape of tomorrow. It can help shape the landscape by exploring promising areas, both for cures for patients and also for potential investments for companies. It can do that in a very time-efficient manner. So the current workflow that we went through took around 30 minutes to run and analyze, whilst if someone was to do that manually, it would have taken tens and tens of hours to go through all of the data. And the benefit of acquiring this information, this knowledge fast, is that it can help shape the competitive landscape against a specific disease, or multiple analysis of these can actually help shape the strategy of a company towards plenty of diseases. A goal that was kept in mind throughout as well is that with such a tool, potentially we could have a more synergized drug development so that both a wider variety of drugs is offered and more efficient drugs. Thank you very much for your time.